Hello, welcome to episode 44.
Hmm.
And today we're talking about how we see today will affect how we do and be and act tomorrow. We're going to talk a bit about a canvas, starting with a blank canvas. We're going to talk about 24 a bit and moving into 25. And we're just going to have a little bit of fun and do our thing here on the Blindsided Podcast. I'm Charlie Collins, co host of the Blindsided Podcast, co founder of the Thriving Blind Academy. And I am a speaker and I am a coach. And I'm also grateful and happy to be here.
Me too, Charlie. My name is Brenda Hayden, and I am also the co-host of the Blindsided Podcast. Excited to be here this morning. I'm also the founder of Time for a 10. We're an emotional intelligence, emotional awareness coaching service. We have a thriving YouTube channel at Time for a 10. You can find us. We're also on TikTok. And I'm excited to talk about this today, 24 into 25. Popcorn. I hear we're going to talk about popcorn.
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah, we are, but we're don't. If you're hungry right now, hold on. Let me change our view a bit.
I'm going to open the chat. Here we go. Good morning, everybody. Carrie and Kate are here nice and early. Good to see you. All right.
So my first question, and this isn't meant if somebody wants to type something in, that's great, but this is meant mainly for self-reflection type of thing. What am I hiding? And I went to a conference a few years back. I was an assistant for Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul. I went to one of his breakthrough to successes, or well, I don't know which one it was because I've been to many, but this one I'm an assistant, so I get to be behind the scenes. So we did a lot of training and working as a team so we could deliver a high level of service to the attendees, all 400 of them. And some of the group, we all were broken into groups. And the question they asked was, what are you hiding? What is it something in this group we don't know about you that you're not all that, I can't think of a word, all that free of sharing with others that you kind of keep behind the curtain. And I'm like, I don't even know these guys. Perfect opportunity. So that was wild, Brenda, because nobody in that circle said, oh my God, you are such a loser. How could you hide that? And we're going to move into, you really think we're hiding it? Do you have do you have any things that did you ask yourself that question, Brenda, ever? Like, what am I hiding? What is it I'm not willing to shine a light on at this time of my life right now?
Absolutely. Hey, Molly. Good to see you. Absolutely, Charlie. Throughout my life, I have experienced hiding things from myself, hiding things from other people. You know how much energy it takes to hide something? It takes a lot of energy to hide something, and it shows. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to be specific, but the answer is yes, absolutely.
So, so I was at a meeting, and it was about 40 people, and it was a bit of, and this was on New Year's Day, and it was the head of the meeting was saying, Brenda, like, 2024. Let's talk about how to shut the door, and move into 25, which we were in that day. With a clean slate, a blank canvas. And he talked about, we probably had some fears and some doubts and some reservations, and we had some lack and scarcity. We had things that didn't serve us. So we want to bury them. And he said resentment and fear and, and we want to just bury them, leave them in 2024 and move into 2025 and picture a blank canvas. And I want to show you something here. I took my finger off the button. Now I had to go find it. So I'm going to disappear for a minute. I'm going to hide me, but I'm really not gone. I'm here. You just can't see me, but I can see you. I can hear you. And what's going to happen is I'll come back. and I'll explain what I'm doing. Now, Brenda, I thought you were going to say something. It's all good. But anyway, did you see the blank canvas, the screen? I was gone. But what happened? The transparency changed and I came back. That's what it's like to think you're going to bury a fear, bury resentment, bury the doubt I keep thinking about. Even though we think we bury them, they're still there. And eventually, if you ever played with any photo or editing or video or any of that, there's a slider on there that says transparency. And that slider will make the image kind of blend in and eventually disappear, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And no matter what happens throughout that day, how I see anything is how I see everything.
I love
and,
that.
and as that slider starts moving, that like I did, it was blacked out. And then whoop, I reappeared. But while I was blacked out, I've been blacked out, but we're not going there. While I was there, I could see Brenda. I could hear the chat was going. People are watching. And then something happened and it reappeared. So, what we want to talk about today is that we're not hiding it as much as we try to stuff it, as much as we try to pretend it's not there. It's there until we embrace it and say, let's have a discussion, you little fear.
Absolutely. You know what came to my mind immediately when you blacked yourself out, Charlie? What popped into my awareness was shadow. So the thing that you are hiding, stuffing, burying, right, becomes a shadow. And what do we know about shadow? I mean, people talk about shadow work all the time. It follows you wherever you go, and it comes out in the most bizarre ways. Whenever in my experience, in my own personal experience, I've hidden something that I felt shame about, something I was afraid of, a belief about myself, it turned into a shadow that came out in the most bizarre ways. It turned into imposter syndrome. I was worried about who was going to find out. It's a lot of work to hide something, a lot of work. And you have to, because you're hiding it, right? You're taking an action. Hiding is taking an action. So it's always in your awareness. You're always on guard with it. It's not, you can't stuff it. That's the whole illusion. That's the lie you tell yourself. But you're going to talk more about that. You have some great stuff to say and great ways to say it this morning.
Well, you always have great stuff to say. So anyway, we're going to talk about popcorn, but before, well, no, I'm going to do that. So popcorn, you ever put it on the stove, not the microwave? Well, that's also, but you put that big thing on the stove and you're doing this and you're waiting and all of a sudden pop and then pop, then pop, pop, pop. And then all of a sudden, pop, and it like, it's amazing how one pop turns into 1, 2, and then maybe pop, 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 and then it takes off. And that was my thinking at times. So where am I going with this? Well, first of all, I want to just say I sent Brenda an email and she didn't, harass me on it. But my spell checker didn't fix it because pooping is not misspelled. So I said something about popping and popcorn and then it continues pooping.
And I reread that, Charlie.
I reread that, Brenda, and I was cracking up. I'm thinking, oh, Brenda's so nice. She didn't pull my covers or say, yeah, thank you. That was nice.
Pooping, popping, it's all the same to me.
I just forgot a P. Oh, and forgetting a P turns into poop. Okay, let me grow up for a minute here. So anyway, what we feed grows. And when you put popcorn on a stove and add the right elements and you put heat to that, it's going to grow. It's going to change. So if I'm leaning into lack or scarcity, what is lack? Not enough. I'm not enough. There isn't enough for me. I don't have an abundance mindset. What is scarcity? I'm running out. There's never enough. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. What is fear? that those are, it's a deep-seated unworthiness. So, and it's many forms, 100 forms of fear.
Mhm.
But anyway, why am I talking about that? Because when I'm in that, I'm feeding it. And what happens when I feed it? It starts turning into popcorn. It
Yep.
pops and it pops into another thought and it pops into this. And I'm starting to go through the day. And this is not me now. It happened about a week and a half ago. I fell into, this is too much for me. I can't do this. I've got to, and I popped a lot of popcorn in my mind that day, and I fed the false self. I fed the lower self.
Yeah.
But what happened, Brenda? It grew.
Yeah. And it grows really, really fast. It grows really, really fast. You know, there's so many things going through my mind right now. And one of the things that's important is, what if the thing that you're hiding, right? Why do we hide things? Shame, fear, what other people are going to think of us if we share it. Right, which I forget that I'm not that important. People aren't thinking about me, right? They're not going to spend much time thinking about the thing that I'm afraid to share. It's going to be a conversation like any other conversation, but it's the belief system, right, Charlie? We talk all the time about the belief system. What if your belief system about that thing is wrong? What if it's not even true? Right? And if it's not even true, now all this popcorn is going on. In other words, it's growing, it's mushrooming, it's tentacling into other areas of your life, and it's not even based in reality. It's not even true. And what I have found, because I did this inventory, right? What I found was, when I inventoried all these things I was hiding, most of them weren't even true. The thoughts and the belief system and my conclusions about these things weren't even based in reality. They weren't based in reality.
They were fancied.
They were fancied. Yes, they were fancied. And that's really what a shadow is. It's a misunderstanding of reality. And once you just, anything you're hiding has tremendous power. Things that are in the dark have tremendous power. They die in the light. They literally die in the light. They die. Good morning, Trish.
With some work.
Yeah.
But I can't do anything until I am present with it and acknowledge it and say, hey, Brenda, you know what? And I had that talk with you, and I talked to you, and you said some things to me that you didn't rub my back and say, it's going to be, you weren't here, but you know what I mean? It's going to be okay. Just let it go. You said, I've noticed you got in me, got in my face a little. And,
because I love you.
And because that helps me. You're a true friend that says, yeah, you were off the beam. Yeah, you were believing that fancied BS, because that's what I was feeding. How you see today is what you feed today. And what you feed today affects what you do tomorrow. Even though, now I have a way to launch into today with a course of vigorous action. I have that. I have a way to constructively review my day so I don't bring what I fed incorrectly throughout the day. And what's incorrect to me might not be to you, but I got to watch the lies that I'm noodling with. Not the one, my shirt is yellow. And Brenda, no, Charlie, your shirt is blue-ish. And I said, I'm sorry, you're a confused woman. My shirt is yellow. It's like, not that lie. The lie that this shirt looks terrible on me. I shouldn't be doing this. None of that nonsense enters my mind. So thankfully, I have a way to constructively review my day. But for 4 days or so, I didn't do that. I went to bed with the stuff I was hiding. And in my sleep, I was feeding it unconsciously. And I woke up thinking about it. What do I do when I think? It triggers energy. It triggers synapses. It triggers dopamine and different connections and things, and it's feeding my brain.
Yes.
And we can feed it either whole foods, or we can feed it super processed garbage. And
Yes,
that's what I was feeding it. It wasn't going through my mouth though. It was just banging around up there. Oh boy.
right, right. And you said some important things like as the popcorn that you're talking about, where does it come from? Where does the popcorn come from? The past, the past, the past, the past, the past. It's not even coming from today. You're pulling in anything and everything that ever happened that's even slightly related to that thing, and you're bringing it into today, and you're making that your experience of today. I want to share a fear here. Carrie says, sometimes I hide what I am feeling about someone or something because of fear of confrontation. That's a good one. Being judged or the other person's inability to be real and authentic back. Oof. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a
That's
good
our
one.
next podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for the topic, Terry.
Authenticity. What she's talking about is authenticity. You know, there are people that are not well equipped to be authentic or to hear the truth. That doesn't mean you can't speak it. It's not about the outcome of how the other person reacts. Like when I came to Charlie with something and I delivered it to him in a very loving way, I wasn't concerned about the outcome, how he was going to receive it. My motivation was compassion, love, empathy, understanding. So it didn't matter how he was going to receive it or how he was going to think of me, because my motive was right. My motive was to be of service to Charlie, not to be right, not to, it wasn't about me. It was about him. And that's a very different conversation than going to somebody and saying, hey, you're not doing it right. You know what I'm saying?
You're pissing me off.
Right. That's a great example of hiding something. And Cassidy says she's really enjoying this and that, that this is a tough one for her. So I'm glad you're here. I hope it helps.
I'm glad I'm here. I'm with you, Cassidy.
Yeah.
And Brenda, that is the beauty of coaching. That's what coaching is. You ask some difficult questions.
Yeah.
A good coach asks the right questions because they honestly are listening.
Yeah.
They honestly want to serve. So they're not thinking about their response, how they want you to like them.
Right.
You know what I mean? I said that kind of wrong, but get over it. Not you.
It's not about you. It's not about you.
And you ask some difficult questions, but without those, I wouldn't see within me what I got to do to stop feeding the BS. and I did. You know what? It's amazing. I planted a flag. I am in control. You are not not you. The other me, the part of me that wants me to lean. Well, to you guys, my automatic light just turned on as I leaned. I have a sensor. TMI, sorry. And this way, I got to lean. Is that going which way to you? Left, right?
Well, you're facing me, so it's to my left.
Right.
But it's to your right. It's opposite.
Yeah. So I'm sorry that I'm my mind
your
talks
ADD is kicking in.
Hey, you guys want to talk about hammers? No. And everything looks like a nail today. And then I feed that. So I really want, this really helped me, Brenda, when you did that, because I planted a flag and I said, I am a speaker. I'm a keynote speaker. I'm a damn good one. I freaking, the energy, I just went through and I looked at my successes and I'm like, a line of people wanting to talk more, to share how it helped them. And I'm like, whoa. And then I am a coach. I am able to hear. I am able to be present, because who you are, what you say is so important. The thoughts you have, the struggles you have, I've had them, or I haven't had them yet. And you're teaching me which way not to go. Right. But then I can ask some questions. And what else is on your mind? And what else is on your mind? And what other challenges do you see that you have fancied in your life because they haven't happened, or you've brought it from a year ago? That last time I tripped over that rock, I can't take that path. Really? Well, what if that rock, So that's the beauty of this stuff for me. It's that light of insight. You said it earlier.
Mhm.
Am I willing to shine a light?
Shine a
Brenda, do you think I'm a loser because of whatever? I can't even think of one. But no, that's not how this stuff works.
No, doesn't work like that at all. One of the things that I really want to talk about for a second is a lot of times the whole popcorn thing and the hiding thing, it comes from the path most traveled, right? So we have neurotransmitters in our brain. We've talked about this before. And I know for myself, right? So I had a lot of trauma in my childhood. And even I had a lot of trauma in my adulthood, trauma that I created, trauma that was imposed on me. I was in a narcissistic relationship for 5 years. That's a very intense kind of trauma that's very similar to childhood trauma. So that brought in a whole bunch of old stuff, and there was new trauma created. And what happened in my brain is those old neural pathways of ruminating, right? Popcorned, because those pathways are very ingrained in my neurology. That it's that simple. Those pathways are ingrained in my neurology. So when I find myself being triggered, even like recently, I was triggered by a male authority figure who was behaving inappropriately, right? And I got triggered by that, and I started ruminating about it. The popcorn started. That's ruminating, is popcorn, right? It's also associated with the hiding. And I noticed in that moment, because I was able to, for a moment, to step back and observe what was going on. So I was able to pull myself out of the ruminating and say, wow, look what's happening here. Is this about this circumstance, or is this about the past? And what I was told to do by my coach, because coaches need coaches too, I
Yeah.
say that all the time, was when that popcorn starts to kick off, right? And I know old neural pathways are being triggered, right? It's like a hiking trail. It's the one that's most traveled. I can stop in that moment and do something and say something like lies, 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 or that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. I can interrupt that cycle with a simple mantra. God grant me the serenity, you know, and it stops the cycle dead center, stops it. And now I have a moment. It's a pause, right? When I was getting sober, they said, before you act on a craving, call somebody. It's a pause. Now I have a pause where I can redirect my thinking. Take the popcorn off the stove.
Mm. Yeah.
I know
Well,
I distracted you.
no, I'm thinking like the goal is not to turn the damn stove on. And Brenda, what we're also talking about, are we doing life by default or design?
Yes, that's a great way to summarize my monologue there.
Default is fire suit. Is if like a fireman, they show up at the burning whatever. They don't know exactly but they got to just take every corner and everything as it is in that moment. And it's very dangerous. And I remember just kind of getting up and going about my day. And as the day unfolded, it presented. And it was challenges. It was whatever it was. But if when I got well and started to look that doesn't work for me. I'm not built because because people are going to be people. They're going to say things, do things the way they think it's best. And that might not work for me, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to hold it in. Carrie said it. It's like, I don't want to have a confrontation. I don't feel like fighting with people. I have so much baggage in myself that I don't have the bandwidth. My corn is popped, and I was default. If I wanted to, Brenda, I could go to my computer and I've done all sorts of things and I'm lost. I don't get what I've done. I've just messed things up in life. Now I can restore it to default, right? But it's not my default. Someone else designed that life.
Yes.
And if you get up and live by default, you're living, God bless you, because I know how hard it is. Now, because of that, I turned to things that were not pleasant. But if you can turn to living life by design, because Brenda, you said it like, I don't know which podcast, but you said there is nobody can make you feel. What?
Anything.
That is freaking,
Anything.
that is a great goal. That is a design for a living. I always say life best lived is life by design.
Nobody can make you feel anything. They can only expose what you already believe about yourself. So, Charlie, we have something important to say here. George says, thank you, Charlie, for finally remembering to mention a hammer during the podcast.
In my family, Brendan, let me just tell you quick. My brother, he fixes things with hammers, and it's just a joke. They come in text messages because there's certain things he's challenged with, electronics, that I'm good at. He's like, well, I think we should just put a hammer on it. And so that's a joke, because when things are broken and, like in our book, Brenda, it says it's like when we have a headache, we take a hammer and we hit our head. There. Now I don't have a headache. I got to go get brain surgery, though.
This is such a great topic, Charlie, what we're talking about. It's such a great topic. And you can stop this stuff from escalating. When you find yourself starting to spiral into a downward, like just negative thinking. Like, I'm not talking about spiritual bypassing. When you have an issue, you've been hurt, there's a trauma, you got to ask questions about it. You have to dive into it. You have to sit with it, be uncomfortable, all that stuff that we always talk about. But in your day-to-day stuff, because that's when it usually happens for me, right? I'll be having a good day and something will pop into my head or someone will do something and I'll get triggered, and now it starts going. The hamster gets on the wheel and starts running, right? The second that hamster gets on the wheel, I have the ability, I have the control with a simple mantra or simple word, you pick the word, to stop that from escalating and turning into a 3 or 4 day. I mean, that's happened, right? 3 or 4 days of ruminating over something I have no control over. And most of the time it's something I have no control over. It's other people's behavior or something I'm personalizing that somebody said or did, or not getting what I want. That's a big one for me. If I don't get what I want, when I want it, as quickly as I want it, the way I wanted it, I can kick off all that stuff.
What we feed grows.
Yeah. I love it when you say that.
The wheel is spinning. The hamster wheel.
Yeah.
It's spinning now. And that's what was going on with me. I could jump out of it, but it was always spinning. And all I had to do was give it a little bit of energy, or where my attention goes, my energy flows. So when I fed those thoughts, I would jump back on it, and I never could go anywhere. I would stay stuck. I could jump out and make some progress, but until I put the brakes on the wheel that was always spinning within me, I was never going to get out of my stick to itness. My bondage of self is really what I'm trying to say. Until I can release the duct tape and put the brakes on that wheel, because I'm always going to jump back. Now the wheel is no longer spinning, but now I got to jump in and I've got to do the work to get it spinning again. But let me tell you, when that sucker's spinning, I am not pleasant to be around.
No. Do you ever find yourself having a conversation in your mind, a phantom conversation with the person that you're ruminating about and what you're going to say and how you're going to say it? And right? That used to happen to me all the time. It happens rarely now, but it still does happen. How about you?
I'm still hiding that.
Let me check the chat here.
Yes, Brenda, I have. And
go ahead.
I think that we should open a rehab center. And ours is going to be how to design the revenge of your life. That would be, we would have a waiting list. How to design getting even. Want to talk about that, man? I fed that for years, and all it did was drive me deeper into the ground.
Yeah.
because it's nobody's fault. My suffering was created by me, damn it.
By your attachment. I just put up on TikTok, I'm going to start putting these on my shorts too on YouTube. I haven't been doing that.
Thank
A little
you for
poster.
because it's winter. I didn't think you were going to be wearing shorts around.
Yeah, my short videos on YouTube, silly. Charlie. It said forgiveness is not about forgetting. It's not about condoning. Forgiveness is about releasing your attachment to whatever happened, releasing your attachment to it. Like, there's someone really unpleasant in my workplace, and she's always been unpleasant, right? So I used to let it bother me. And now I just say, she's being her. She's just being her. It's not personal, right? She is just being her. Instead of letting that popcorn pop. It is what it is. They are who they are. Oh, well, not about me.
Except the things I cannot change. You said it earlier. And Brenda, I want to go back. You want, imagine a blank canvas, a clean slate. It doesn't matter if you have debt because you're not your debt. It doesn't matter if you owe a few amends because you're going to now put them on your new slate that I will get these done. It doesn't matter if you haven't been connected close enough to a sibling because you are going to. So you don't say I can't have a clear vision because I have so much. I can't say the word. I could, but I don't want to.
Muck.
Crap that I keep carrying, but I want to shine a light on it. Hey, this is cool. I'm just going to move it over to the I'm going to. And that's what, and then remember transparency. Remember, if you don't acknowledge that I owe this, that, I'm not my debt. I'm not my income. I am not what I make. I'm not where I live. I'm not the car I drive. I'm a freaking a son or daughter of a creator. That's the higher self will then start driving the lane we want to live in. And then this canvas becomes exciting to take a look at because Brenda, when I'm in my lane, it's timeless. It's, I feel connected. I don't even know where I am at times, and then that lane is everybody has that lane within them. If you are feeling frustrated, resentful, angry at times, if you feel lack of abundance, you feel something just ain't jiving in your life, it's because you're way outside your lane. And God made us to live within that lane. And it took some serious work for me to pop into that lane. And then I pop out, I pop in. Hey, popcorn.
Yeah, that's what we do. I think when I forget, right, if you look around the earth, right, and you look at all the beauty that's here, and there's like millions and millions and millions of species of animals and insects and plants and sunrise and moon and the universe and stars and all of that stuff. The creator of all that is decided the planet needed you, that your unique self, you were created with intention, that the earth and its people needed you. You're an expression of the creator of all that is. And I forget that. There's no higher calling than to remember that you're an expression of the creator of all that is. And all the other stuff that we're defining ourselves by, how many likes we get, or who likes our videos, or how much money we make, or, whether we ate a tin of ice cream last night or not, like all these little things, right, that we're defining our worth about don't matter. And we give it so much energy. There's no reason to hide anything about yourself. You are created with your assets and your defects, and you are created perfectly. Exactly what this planet needed. If we were all free of all this, of all our character defects and stuff, we'd all be the same. It's what makes us unique. And, it's what gives us an opportunity to invite the creator of all that is in and ask for help. If we didn't need any help, right? What would life be about, right? And helping each other is really important. Getting an accountability buddy. and getting a coach and letting somebody talk to a coach first about that thing that you're hiding, right? Instead of popcorning about it. Talk to a coach about it, right, Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Best thing I ever did.
And
You know what my coach said to me when I revealed like the thing that I was never going to tell anybody? Oh, I did that. I was like, what?
I
I
know.
thought I was the only person on the planet that felt and thought that way. She's like, oh, I did that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
confronted.
because we stay in the prison of our minds. The cover of my book is, the prison cell is opened. The person's reaching up and the light is coming through. It's like, I'm no longer going to live behind the bars, the prison of my mind. I am no longer going to point my finger outside of me that you are the reason my life sucks. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I am no longer, it's like plant a flag. This is such a fun month because there are so many people that are so gung ho on their little thingy at the gym, and in about 3 weeks they're all going to be back on the couch. And doesn't make them a bad person, stupid, nothing. It makes them human because they're not doing the most important thing, working on up here.
Yeah.
When the spiritual malady is overcome. What is a malady? It's a disconnect. Oh, Brenda's going to love this. But when that disconnect is connected, we straighten out mentally, physically, relationally. We love ourselves. We love others. We start feeding that.
Yeah. Yeah. We're living in the box. We're living in the box. That's where the popcorn happens. The popcorn happens up here. It doesn't happen here. So if you even just stop and say, is that even true? What I'm thinking, has it ever even happened? Like half the stuff that I'm popcorning about has never happened, will never happen. Like it's just, I can go on and on about that. Try going into your heart, right? Try thinking of a memory that really brings you joy. Laughter. Laughter is one of the highest frequencies you can attain. Laughter.
I was told to write 100 things you did successfully. I'm like, what? I've never written 100 things of anything, let alone what's good about me. Let me write 100 things of where I suck. Brenda, it all started for me hiding my eye disease. I'm going to share that. Yeah. I tried to show up as a sighted person. It's like a guy with no leg trying to show up as a guy with 2 legs. It's like, sure, I fooled some people, but I didn't talk. I didn't want to connect. I didn't want you to look at me. I didn't want to, because you might notice that I'm less than. Yeah. So now I'm leaning into, I'm feeding less than. You're better than me because you can see. And it's like, God, what a lie that is. And how it is crippling. It was crippling, paralyzing. And it was like this evil and corroding
thread.
The fabric of my existence. This I'm quoting from the big book, everyone. Though I am not that smart. The fabric of
you are that smart.
Okay. But you know what I mean. I'm cheating. I'm borrowing from things I've read. Obviously, it's only, Brenda, what I love about what we do too is that this is experiential. I have not done anything on this show. Podcast. That I read in a book and I haven't implemented, practiced, gotten results and experienced in my own life. I haven't.
Me neither.
I don't, and there are many people that do that, and that's disgusting. But that's good for them. So I was hiding my eyes, my disease in my eyes. I was hiding. I speak in this little, it's tiny little thing in the back of my fovea. Okay, what's the fovea? It's behind the retina. Okay, we're talking like microscope small. And I had a little disease in that part of my eye, which created drusins. And drusins are spots. They're like things starting to go over my camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
And blocking. I don't want to touch the lens, but that's like my eye. I can't see in the center, but I can see around it.
Yeah.
And as I got, these drusins kept appearing. So my blind spot, like I'm looking at a camera, I think I can't see one. I got to go like that. Oh, there it is. But now I look kind of creepy. uh, and that's why I wouldn't go near people. I'm hiding who I am.
Yeah.
And I am not. Now, then I got even more healed. That's not who I am.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
I'm not legally. I'm not the guy where I live, the shoes I have. I am not. I'm a child of God that has legal blindness. And with that, what can I do? Build a business, help others, get transparent, let that opacity come up.
Yeah. You transmuted your pain. You
Yeah.
took your pain and you turned it into something to be of service with. And that is the ultimate calling. And we're all capable of doing that. And that's why you don't hide it. We don't hide it. You know, I've never hidden that I'm a recovering alcoholic and drug addict. I never hide that. I never hid it from my workplaces. I never hide it from anybody because
you couldn't possibly when you were active, even though you tried to.
Right. So it's I'm not defined by that. I mean, no. Everyone in my family, by the way, is except one brother, right? There were 6 kids in our family. Both my parents, everyone in my family, except for one adopted brother, same disease of the mind, body and soul.
Free part.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not going to focus on that. I have it. What I'm going to focus on is I'm recovered. And I have a daily reprieve.
What are you covered from?
A disease of the spirit, mind, and body.
But you're also recovered from a seemingly hopeless condition of mind and body.
Seemingly hopeless. Thank you, Charlie. Yeah. Yeah. And hopeless, I have sponsees look up the word. Hopeless, absolutely, positively no chance of change ever. That's hopeless.
And I fed that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So how I see today is what I feed. What I feed determines my actions and my next thought. And if I don't clean that up, because it crops up in all humans, even the best of the best have coaches,
Absolutely.
have accountability partners and mastermind groups. Trust me. I've sat in a couple like, I want to play with you guys. High level thinkers that are changing the world.
Yeah.
Like, holy, never even knew. But anyway, Brenda and I have worked with some people that are banged up.
Yeah.
Really banged up.
Really banged up.
And their first impression to us is that they want us to know they're not a loser. And we don't think it out of the gate. So and then they want to kind of paint a story of why. Listen, buddy, you don't need to do any of that. Let's just move into action. The big book of Alcoholics Anonymous is a design for living. The Bible is a design for living. Social media is a design to kill you. No, it's the opposite. So you want to live by default, follow the herd, do what they do, wake up with no plan, and God bless you. You want to make an impact, live on purpose, and find your lane and work with God's grace. Get out your canvas and start designing and hire me. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. This is live. That was a joke.
So, reveal the conditioned thinking, get rid of those neural pathways that are being triggered all the time, right? Pick up some tools, find your self-worth, just stop thinking about yourself all the time. Because, the less I think about myself, humility, right, is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. And there's a lot of peace and joy in that. It's not about you. It's not about you. So we're getting to that time, Charlie.
Yeah, Brenda, I don't think well of myself, but it's all I think about.
I'm not much, but I'm all I think about, right? Yeah. That's another one I heard a lot. Yeah.
I just like you doing that because
I love that new little subscribe. Put that up there again. How'd you do that? Did you make that?
Yeah, it's in my little video thingy box controller. I'm going to ask my brother for help on this. George, do not put a hammer emoji in the comments right now because that is a great tool. Trust me. All right. This has been fantastic.
Yay.
I said, I am showing up. My sleeves are not rolled up, but it was a mind thing. Like I am ready to go. I did some movements. I centered. I asked for guidance and help, and then boom, and it's very rewarding having the ability and being able to do this podcast with you, Brenda.
Yeah, Charlie, this has been so transformative for me. Thank you so much. Thank
All
you,
right.
everybody who came to the podcast today. Cassidy, Carrie, Kate, Trish, George. Should I keep scrolling?
Sure.
Oh, it's not. The scroll bar is not moving. Oh, here we go. Molly's here. Hi, Molly. I said hi to Molly earlier. Blindsided podcast and Blindsided Productions now. And don't forget, guys, both Charlie and I are guides on the Soul app. The Soul app from Soul Technologies is a really beautiful app where you can learn about all kinds of spiritual tools, and there's communities there. If you want to join a community, that's a great way to start revealing yourself and getting some support. Yeah, check it out.
And we will see you next week. And please like, subscribe, share, and beware.
And hire us, by the way.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.